Hello and welcome to our first tutorial video on how to use Google to find up-to-date news articles and stories relating to marijuana. So here we are on Google's homepage, and the very first thing we want to do is type in a normal search inquiry into the search bar. So I will type in marijuana legalization. And here we get the basic search results page that Google supplies to its users. We do have some news stories on top, as well as an info box linking to a Wikipedia page if you'd like to use that as your source. And then as we scroll down, there are just normal page links to sources rated by Google PageRank as being noteworthy. You can see here, though, that not everything here is a news source. Some of them are more general resources, such as state laws, drug policy, which is an advocacy group. And also notice how not all of these pages have a date associated with them, so there's no really way to know if they're timely or not. You would assume they are, but there's no way of being sure. So the question is now, how do we find specifically news sources that are contemporary, that are up to date? Well, if you go to the top of the page here, you see that there's different types of search results Google lets their users filter by. The very first one we see, besides all, which is the default, is news. So if we click that, you can already see that we've filtered a lot of results. We've gone from 17 million to 273,000, which is a lot more precise because now we're looking for specifically news, stuff that we know is going to inform the reader about events happening in the sector. And they're also more timely as the algorithm, the backend algorithm, emphasizes that a lot more than it does for just the general results page. But now, what if we wanted to make sure we were getting just the very specific, the latest news? Well, if we go back up again to the results parameters bar, we can click on tools, and we see we have an option here called recent. But there's other ones we can search by, such as even past week or past 24 hours. And just like that, we've gone from 17 million results to 922 news stories relating to marijuana from the last 24 hours, which is much more precise and much more manageable for any team looking to stay on top of this to manage and parse through. Um, Besides 24 hours, we could do a week, which brings us 7,000 pages, a little bit more for a week. Seems about right, 900 times 7, give or take. Or we could even do a custom range. Say if we wanted to do back when Colorado first was the first state to legalize. And look at that, it even archives ways that, even archives news stories from way back when marijuana legalization passes in Colorado or Washington. 14 ways it could boost the economy through business creation, of course, and some other stuff, so on and so forth. These search time parameter principles can even be applied to the all section of Google's results page. Again, we go to tools, anytime, and switch it to the past 24 hours or a week or so, whatever we want to do. And behold, we've gone from 17 million results now to 62,000. Of course, not all these results are going to be strictly news-based, which is why there's so many of them. But again, it is a good refinement and gives us a more directed sense of our search than a normal undirected search without these parameters would do. One last thing to note is that you don't have to click news here. You could, of course, always click more for marijuana legalization under top stories. And again, it brings us back to our news filtered results page with our parameters intact. And if you ever want to start over, you can go here and click clear. Besides time, we could do all news, just blogs if we want to scan the social scene. And we could do relevance or by date. And date will, of course, give us the most up-to-date links as possible. This may, however, sacrifice a bit of search term precision, so that is the one thing to keep in mind when doing that kind of filtering. And there you have it. That is how you search Google for up-to-date marijuana news.